All right, here we go, boys. It's going to be a banger chat. Get your popcorn. It's 47 minutes long. Intro goes crazy, not going to lie. Oh my god, the man himself. Chat, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this man. Check out all his videos. He's got probably the highest quality YouTube videos in the Apex scene.
So important that you get the damage here, and it's done! TSM up in the skies! House goes down for
TSM.
So important that you get the damage here, and it's done! TSM up in the skies! House goes down from the heavens!
Dark Zero.
Here comes Zero! Zero! The captain! The IGL to send it back down under!
Heading into champs, these two juggernauts had won the Split 1 and Split 2 playoffs, setting up a final showdown at the championship to decide who truly was the greatest. And despite the world feeling as though the question would go unanswered and a new team would rise to the occasion,
God, I got goosebumps already.
TSM settled the debate.
What an intro.
So healthy. Four-man squad wrestles on that shield. Plays on the knockdown. And TSM.
TSM's gonna go here. It's gonna go soon right now. I think it's the play. There we go. Another knock from Slab. And here we go. Street Fighter gonna be eliminated. TSM walking on in, bro. Everyone is flushed here.
TSM. The queue up third party from the low ground, baby.
I mean, bro, 2 games back-to-back where we have seen TSM do 2 new spots they have never played and win 2 games in a row. It's just clockwork, man.
The teams on the other side, though, TSM, Dark Zero. If it ended right now, our 2 land winners of our previous 4 lands would not be in the final.
Is TSM gonna do it, Greek? Here we go, 3v3.
This clip right here of me is actually from
Previous 4
Split 1 that we won. This actually isn't from champs.
the final.
Is TSM gonna do it, Greek? Here we go, 3v3.
DF on the swing.
Oh my god.
TSM picks up 2.
TSM pick up 2, give me 2, give me 2.
TSM
wins!
TSM.
wins!
TSM.
They make it to Championship Sunday.
Verhulst will get breaks, but that's not the end of this fight. Oh, the grenade ends TSM's first matchup here.
As his eyeballs getting knocked on the fucking how, and they're fighting up top. What the fuck is going on? TSM eliminated.
And TSM need a game here. This was my main worry coming into match point finals, is that TSM have not really done much.
There's no such thing as grind for me. I am the grind.
FaZe eliminated. And TSM.
No way, just played that line right before the drop. The music drop.
Thing as grind for me. I am the grind.
FaZe eliminated. And TSM. TSM needed that dub.
So good.
Goes over TSM.
And Gojo.
How? Oh my god! TSM!
Oh
Back to back! Alright, here we go. The queue up over from TSM. 1v2, 1v1. TSM! TSM! It's over!
It is over.
It's all over!
It's over.
TSM wins it, baby! It is all over!
My god. TSM, now the undisputed GOAT streak. And is it? It is
Holy shit!
the DZ TSM debate
Your
is now
chance
Get from the hype video.
for year
It is
3.
over.
Hey, bro.
It is over.
If it makes the video better, I'm all for it.
For
That's
sure.
that CEO shit, man.
That is 100% CEO shit.
Welcome back to the reset, where today we will explore how TSM became the Year 3 ALGS champions. But first, if you enjoy ALGS content, click the like button and hit subscribe. It helps out the channel more than you know. Also, major shout outs to Verhulst and Raven, who were down to interview for this video. If you want to see the full thing unedited, check out my Patreon, link in the description. Now, TSM heading into champs were obviously one of the 2 favorites to take the whole thing. They had won the Split 1 playoffs and placed second at the Split 2 playoffs, but their rivalry with Dark Zero was not only the main storyline heading into champs, but also a motivating factor considering that DZ had just won the previous LAN.
If we had won both the first 2 LANs, like we probably wouldn't have tried as hard in scrims leading up to champs, and like I don't know, we might not have played as well if we'd won like both LANs coming into champs. I honestly think it's kind of a blessing that we got second at that second LAN, because I think that like kind of gave us something to work towards for champs.
But both DZ and TSM would have
True,
to
I agree.
quickly following the Split 2
I agree.
playoffs, as there were a few major changes to the game. First off, loot was nerfed, specifically armor spawn rates, which is going to affect early rotate teams the most. Next, Seer gets nerfed, and this leads to him being absolutely dead in the competitive meta. The first day of groups, a few teams gave him a chance for a couple games, but by the second set of games, he was completely gone for the rest of the tournament. And finally, the most crucial one, ring consoles no longer had the exclusion radius rule, which would affect select consoles, preventing them from both spawning in the same game. Because this rule only affected some consoles, it led to disproportionate amounts that certain POIs like Lava Siphon would receive a ring console. And with this change, now all POIs have an equal chance of obtaining a console because the selection was purely randomized.
Yeah, the main thing, the main 2 things were the armor nerfs, which pretty like hit walls super hard, because originally like the whole theme of wall was that you would always have enough loot to just go play zone or go play a gatekeep spot in zone 1-2. But now that they nerfed armors, like we either have worse armors now, or if we do have crafter at our POI, we have to craft our armors more often, which means we have less bats. Yeah, so it pretty much killed wall as a POI, which felt pretty bad. So it just meant that we had to like play with a lot less pride now and just loot up. So yeah, that sucked. In general, also like the wall crafter spawn rate has gone down like almost 40% since I joined the team. Siphon beacon spawn rate also got nerfed from 90% to 66, so that just meant also more detours having to hit beacons on rotate. It required us to have to do a lot more like improvising and adapting, and a lot more like unfamiliar game states that we hadn't been exposed to.
With all these changes happening, this felt like the best chance for any team to dethrone our 2 LAN champions. But to begin the LAN, Dark Zero dominate the group stages, finishing first overall. In terms of stats, they were blowing every single team out of the water. TSM wasn't their usual dominant self, but they were still solid, finishing in 7th, heading to the winner's bracket. But this is when the cracks in the armor began to appear. Through the first 5 games, TSM was having uncharacteristically bad performances. They were failing to defend their spots in zone, such as in game 1.
Someone's flying on me! Someone's flying on me!
Yeah.
Coming here! Yeah, no, I love Kello. Do not Kello, by the way. We're in danger on the side. Yep. I'm on a bat. I'm one. Good deal, one. Yeah, back up. I'm bat in. One shot, I had to back up all the way. I need to back away. I need to back up. Get out. Run away. West. Go east. Get out. Go east and run away.
Running away.
We also need to, you guys need to be there with like closer to me, like faster. Wait, someone's on. Yeah. Full team on me. They're rolling in. Back up.
I'm gonna leave you.
No, you guys.
He's one shot, bro.
Just fight the one. Fight it.
Okay, play the heady.
Yeah, he's good. Just play with us. Play 2v3. You got this. I'm gonna die. Take the cannon or something.
Bad game.
You went to the gas room.
They were forgetting about watching their back, such as in game 2.
I think we just left evac tower and we fly into the side of the building. Yep. We're gonna go to the side of the building, okay? Do you understand? You're gonna probably play aggressive. We don't want to let them play aggressive on us. Which building? On the side of the building. Okay.
Oh no, we didn't die here because we forgot to watch our back. Yeah.
You're gonna need.
This was just yeah. I guess I can't. Like maybe Hal wasn't thinking about the team coming in from the edge here, but no. The only reason we landed over there is because we were gonna land in this building, right? And there's a dude on the roof here that was kind of threatening to like int us if we land on this corner. So because of that one dude here, we went to this corner.
They're gonna jump on us, probably. I'm only the door. There's a team on our back. Team on our back. Can I come inside? I'm blowing. I can't, bro. Come to me. I'm on my side. I'm on my side. Hang on me. Guy on me. Dead. There's a horizon. There's a down horizon on me. Kill those both. Nothing you can do there.
The fact that I was able
They were getting
to even
forced
rat there was kind of
circle
insane.
Which would result in them having to play edge, but then they would engage in 3v3s and their fighting cohesion just simply wasn't there, and they would start to die individually, such as in game 3.
Where are they at? They're evacuating right here. They're evacuating. Popping a mech kit. I have to go back in the gas on the mech kit. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know where they're going with that.
I'm using my only med.
I don't see them. They're landing us. Yep. We have to fight these guys. Bangle.
I did.
Play the headies on us. They bangle for us. One's queuing up. Battle. I got stuck. I'm on the right. I'm having a mech kit. I'm on my own. Can you peek this with me? I'm peeking. I'm swinging left. He's in my 160. I'm looking. 70 on one. Got one. Nice. I can't see anything. Dead, saw you.
That fight was just scuffed.
We have to shoot that fucking...
And to make matters worse, on their micro rotates with a lack of seer, they weren't able to properly scout out the availability of specific buildings.
There's nobody island either. There might be nobody island.
Dude, this loss here was actually so unlucky. Like,
Yeah.
it was preventable, but it was the first time we've ever had to like actually clear a whole building like this with cat queues.
Can't tell.
No, I swear I hear something.
Could be ratting it.
Yeah, I swear.
Chat, so what happened is we think there's a team in that building ratting, right? This building here. And so I throw a Q on this doorway
I'll try back, Evan.
to check it for rats.
Someone there.
And my Q didn't reach the whole building. Didn't reach the whole building. Like that was just so unfortunate. Like that's us just like not understanding the radius of the cat queue.
Wait, they're in here. Yeah, they're there. Back up. Can you back up? Okay. I'm on right. It's look I got pulled. Just run, Evan. You gotta run south. Let's see over there.
I couldn't even rat here because there's another team to our south.
Dead, bro. Wait, there we go. Like, bro. Oh my god, my Q just doesn't reach the other side of the...
Their zone calls were correct, but they couldn't make it deep into the endgame with all of these mistakes compounding. It was starting to look bleak for TSM, but luckily for them, in the bracket stage at Champs, the sets were expanded from 6 games to 8. This means the cutoff will be higher, but the best teams will have more opportunities to rise to the occasion.
So yeah, 8 games, like you said, the expected winners are always going to do better, like the more games there are, just so you can account for like variance and randomness and whatnot. So
that said, it is a double-edged sword. If you fall to the elimination bracket, that's another 8 games you have to play, and no team has ever won a LAN having to come from the elimination bracket.
I like the 8-game sets personally. The only downside to it is that second to last day where if you don't qualify through winners bracket, you have to play 16 games, which is like pretty big disadvantage for the teams that didn't qualify through winners bracket.
Heading into game 8, TSM is sitting in 18th place with 28 total points. And to head into the winners bracket, they're going to need to jump up into the top 10, surpassing Dark Zero. The pressure is on.
I think when the pressure is on, Hal will kind of like, I think as IGLing gets better, because he'll start to like, basically just start to like, kind of like process more like ideas and like rotations in his head. Like he'll consider more options faster. Like when pressure goes up, he just starts to, I don't know, his brain just starts working faster. He starts considering like more ideas, and like he'll usually come up with a better plan when the pressure's on.
We jump into the game and TSM does not have a ring console. And I want you to remember this for future games because this is a common occurrence in some of the most important games TSM has during this LAN. The circle is going to be pulling directly on top of Lava Siphon. Now, notably, TSM will often move quickly to play this building in these zones, but without the ring console, they don't exactly know where the circle is pulling, which allows for Luminosity to beat them there. Instead, they end up playing at the central building in Lava Siphon.
We didn't have Beacon that game, so that game we were trying to follow Dark Zero because they had Beacon, and I saw them coming south siphon. So I was like, shit, it might be a south siphon zone or something. So I'm sitting, you know, we're literally like spread out trying to see like where people are going because we don't have beacon and the zone might be close to us, right? So I'm sitting south and I see Dark Zero running right at me. And I was like, come over here, like I'm calling my teammates. And then, you know, they evac tower over us and I'm confused, like, where's the zone? Like, I don't understand, like, why are they going this way? And eventually we just end up like middle siphon because we're just
I think for the 9 months I used to be good. Appreciate you.
confused on where the zone is. And I feel like we were not gonna call, to be honest. Like from playing from middle siphon, like one, that was our first time playing from middle siphon. And two, like we've always been told, you know, by Raven, like that building is just trash.
The problem with middle siphon is you can't kill teams that actually force like a coexist in that building. And then on top of that, like it's right next to command center. And command center can kind of just walk into the building anytime they want, especially if you're trying to kill another team that walked into your building. So it's generally not good, but we didn't really have any other options. If it's like unclear which side of siphon it's going, because we saw LG, I think, playing that building. So we saw them there from middle siphon because we have all that high ground, right? Like we can go to the roof, we can go on the balcony. And then we saw other teams coming in. Yeah, we obviously don't know exactly where it's pulling, so we're like, okay, we'll just stay middle siphon and just hedge our bets there.
They sit here for as long as possible and then reach the point where they have to move. But before they move, TSM is really good at using their downtime effectively. While holding, they're constantly discussing their weak points to prevent themselves from being caught out. But when it's crunch time, each player starts tossing out ideas.
There's like nothing to do right now. They're dating.
Can we do like an evac off our balcony or something?
We're gonna have to play low ground, I think, here. But we're gonna die to the team on the bridge.
You don't think we can evac
can play here?
balcony?
No, we don't do that. I think we have to play on my thing.
Okay.
And when all three minds are able to come up with different options, you can find the best one, which Reps calls out.
The team is walking into the truck or something right now? I feel like we got it.
Like a super, it's a super important thing to have on your team. Like a super important skill to have on your team is just being able to come up with multiple options during like long downtimes. You know, a lot of teams can't do that. A lot of teams don't know how to do that. Like they sit in a building and they just don't talk for like 15 minutes.
Evac to get that. You like to go where? Underneath? Yeah, the underneath, like the ultimate low ground. I'm down to try that. I'm down for that. I'm down actually for that. Like the ultimate low ground on my team. Yeah, I'm down for that actually. But this team is gonna fucking shoot us. I don't know when to do it. I don't have info.
There's a 3-man command center that might int us soon.
Wait, what? They're on our height. We have to run down the middle. We have to run down the middle, boys. Yeah. Come on, follow me now. Follow me now. Just follow me now and shut the fuck up. Cut the fucking distance.
Yep. Got shot on the back.
If you have to catwall, we can make this. Just catwall to get low ground if we can.
Yep.
We can make this, guys. There's nobody there. I'm going. They're getting shot over here on the right.
Hopping a bat here.
We need to get above right here. Yeah, I'm playing here.
Hopping a bat, I'm going.
Shot here. Looking for.
And this idea works because think about how TSM usually plays these zones. As I mentioned, they're typically in the spot that LG is currently playing, and they know that when these circles continue to pull south, all of the fighting is going to happen in the north as teams are forced to rotate in. This rotation was beautiful.
God dang, it's a lot of teams in siphon.
In the middle of circle to a spot that is completely unfocused as everyone is fighting all around them. And I don't think that anyone even realizes they pull this off, including LG, because they go and push Optic, allowing for TSM to third.
They're fighting low ground. They're hard fighting low ground.
They're getting third by the one side.
I got a fuse on that. I'm gonna fuse on that. 40 on it, 40 on that. I don't think they'll run us. They push that. Crack the guy. I think we hug the wall.
Yeah.
Hug the wall.
They're fighting above us.
They're smoking.
This guy right above us. Damn, Wallen. I'm rolling back.
Push right. We push right here.
Yeah, looking.
Coming around. Push right. Swinging right.
Hard man.
I don't see anything.
Moving up.
What's that?
Dog, frozen one. Hard man.
Spot in the knockdown. Where's that guy?
Reps goes down, but Verhulst does a great job anchoring their spot and holding presence, which enables Hal and Reps to reset. But TSM are on the low ground. Dreamfire are above them, making this a fight one that they are taking from a losing position. But as Evan mentioned, when the pressure is on, that's when Hal shines, and he's quick on his feet here. He gets Reps to fuse ult Dreamfire, and then he walks up onto the rocks to rat them out.
What is your catwall?
It's at 50, I won't have it.
Okay, are you safe? Evan?
Currently, yeah, they're gonna mount this out here.
Defuse on somebody. The soldiers kill each other. Yeah, top two, top two. I gotta go to you, I gotta go to you. Top two. I have the bat, I have the bat. Yeah. All of us. That one's on 60. That one's on 60. I'm riding them, I'm riding them right now. They don't know I'm here, they don't know I'm here. I'm gonna throw birds, I'm throwing birds. Break that now. Swing it right! Swing it right!
I can't believe he got that kill. That is so ridiculous, chat. If he doesn't get us killed, then we actually lose this. Actually, no. Maybe we still win.
TSM.
But no, that was just
grab.
It was kind of insane how it didn't die here. This dude just whiffed with the Havoc hard, and Hal made a really good play. It's just a perfect combination.
And TSM grabbed 21 points to go from 18th to 5th, heading into the winner's bracket with 6 advancement points. Once again, a game where they're playing a building they don't normally play or feel comfortable playing. They don't have ring console, which stalls at the rotate, and yet still they manage to win the game. And notably, with this heroic run, Dark Zero ends up dropping to 11th place, falling to the elimination bracket with their lives on the line. And Verhulst waited no time before calling them out.
I mean, now after having their placement now, like, you never know. Like, it could be like a mental like snowball, and they just like keep performing worse and worse, you know. So they could. I would not be surprised now to see them not make it.
Evan, I found this kind of funny because obviously, you know, you win the positive player award, but you're kind of a little bit of a savage during LAN interviews. During the Split 2 playoffs, you called Alliance the group stage team, and I feel like nobody credits that to you. Like, all of a sudden, that's like a thing that people have just attached to them, and everybody forgets that you're the one who said that first. And then they interview you after about like the Dark Zero situation, the fact that they were having to go to losers. And you talked about, well, I don't know, maybe they're just kind of mentally chalked and they're not going to be able to overcome that, and they're going to lose and they won't be in the finals. So, I don't know, just talk to me about, is that like mental warfare? What's going on when you're making these call-outs during these interviews?
You know, it really isn't mental warfare. I'm basically just saying, like, I'm just basically saying the truth, like what I think will happen. Like, I'm not trying to like make a team do poorly or like try and create some drama. I'm really just saying exactly what I think will happen. Just trying to be like as honest as I can, and I just happen to be right about those two statements, so everyone thinks I'm some like prophet now.
Well, he might have known something that we all didn't, because DZ gets eliminated in 23rd. The storyline of champs being the decider between Dark Zero and TSM was fading. DZ was gone, and TSM was not looking like their usual dominant self despite the heroic Game 8. It truly felt like this may be the first time we see another team lift the trophy.
Just the truth, chat. Just speak truth.
And that sentiment only got stronger during the finals. To start off the finals, we get a pull between Geyser and Overlook, and TSM secures essentially the game-winning spot, but Optic ends up taking it from them. And with all this pressure from Optic, TSM is sandwiched, so they end up making a push towards FaZe and Overlook, but eventually die as multiple teams are putting in damage towards them. And Optic goes on to win this game from that spot that TSM held.
Ascend at Geyser didn't have a beacon, so Optic like half looted their POI and just went for the tunnel because they were like, oh, Ascend doesn't have a beacon, they won't be playing tunnel. So they thought it'd just be free. Like, they went there assuming it would just be free because, yeah, Ascend didn't have a beacon. But otherwise, the other part was that LG died super early in the game too. And normally, like, Optic and LG brawl it out on those rotates, like around the Geyser Crafter. So LG just died literally 2 minutes of the game. Maybe if they were at the Geyser Crafter, or maybe, you know, if they hadn't died, they would have heard us like tussling in the tunnel, and they would have just came up behind Optic and 3P'd. But yeah, I don't think it was this like calculated play of, oh, we're gonna like start pushing this tunnel early. It seems like they just did it because Ascend didn't have beacon.
Tier 1, give me Yaya.
Game 2, we get a Skyhook East pull, one of the worst circles for TSM. They also don't have ring console again, so they take a detour to Overlook to grab information since they're going to be late to this zone anyway. But this is a circle pull they realistically were never going to overcome as they transition towards picking up KP instead of attempting to win. But that momentum gets stalled out completely in game number 3. The Dojo Rats TSM.
What a good camera shot, holy. Zooming in, watching me walk into this trap.
Dojo Rats TSM.
Might be there. Oh my! I got ratted on, bro. Yeah. Dude, you need to watch the door. We need to see if we can get the banner.
They're gonna loot. You
Funny.
might be able to get banners. Just check the corners, bro. They can still do it again on one of you guys. Here, you got 25 seconds. Put the Qs in corners.
I'm gonna walk up. They're here.
There's no way, there's no dodge. Bro. You can't just run out there. You gotta just throw the Qs.
Bro,
Don't run
there's no
in.
space to cover with Qs.
Qs is fucking retarded, man. Yeah, this is very sick. Actual fucking rad, bro.
Oh
Like, they're so... They're just fucking rats.
I do want to note something though. Them doing that meant that we had to triple land wall so that they wouldn't do that again. But then that also meant that they left all 3 of the nuts and the 3 bins right under the wall and they never looted it again. Which is really, really bad for Northpad because those 3 nuts and those bins are all high.
Oh, Jayhawk's so good, bro. He's showing the map as Raven's talking about what's happening on the map. Genius.
High tier loot, and like the rest of Northpad has like so little loot and it's like medium tier loot. So them sacrificing all that loot to realistically it should have only been just Hal dying is like a pretty bad play. I don't think they like actually thought that through.
Once again, call back to the fact that Seer is no longer in the meta. These kind of plays now work, and TSM has been stifled. They're off to a slow start, and Optic has already reached match point. In Game 4, TSM has a standard rotate to the Northpad zone, but on their rotate into the final circle, they have to engage with the dojo. But Optic thirds, and they're going for the win.
Balls at 85.
Follow me. We're killing us.
Right side.
There's been one.
On your right. That one. There's one more. The whole team. My team threw them.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do there. That's a question, bro. Like. I'll take that. Still alive. Okay, there's a 33. You might actually win the game.
This could be it! Optic versus NRG!
Do it, man. Game 4. No way. Everything on the line here for Optic. Everything.
The crowd getting into it now. I think NRG knows what they're up against. Can Sweet stop the dreams of Optic?
Or is it going to be a beautiful nightmare? And Optic takes
NRG on the swing, they have the ultimate height. This is bad for Optic.
This is very bad for Optic.
Knock gets the knock on his Sweet. Do we do?
Oh my god, are we about to win this history? Here over in Birmingham.
Skittles gotta go nuclear.
Oh my god.
NRG!
Greg's voice is so shot.
People's champion, NRG, takes the win and kills off Optic.
And Optic was so close, but yet so far.
Hold on. Let me look at Optic again, bro. I don't get to look at Optic very often.
NRG takes the win and kills off Optic.
And Optic. Optic was so close, but yet so far.
Oh,
Sweet and company over at NRG keeping the tournament alive. Holy shit. I almost just shit.
I did too. That knock on a Sweet man by knocked was huge, man. Holy fuck, I love Apex Legends. My voice is so fucked. Let's go.
This is the best esport in the world, baby.
Of all time.
But NRG clutch it out, giving the entire rest of the lobby another chance.
This adds to how, like, thank you, NRG. Our plot armor was this land. Or that last day. Did you ever watch like how NRG got that spot?
Yeah, with the cars. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you see how close Optic was to getting that spot? Like they're literally colliding each other like this, and Optic. Oh my god. Chat, isn't this just so insane? Like, if NRG hadn't gotten the spot, we would have finished in like 17th. Just look how close this was. This is like half a second difference. Like, NRG just barely cuts them off by like half a second. It was literally like colliding each other like this, and Optic, like, NRG just barely cuts them off by like half a second. It was so crazy. Like, when I watched that back, I was like, oh my god, like this whole tournament.
Do you think Optic wins that game if they get that spot?
I think so, yeah. I think probably, yeah.
And
yeah.
the fact that even happened, that moment, I think it only happened because Optic third-partied the contest the game before, and NRG knew that.
Dude, the observers killed it. All these angles that Jayhawk is pulling, like, from the observer POV are so good for, like, story that's happening.
And they were like, well, they're just fighting over there, and there's a third party, and like that car is free, so let me just like yoink that car. And then they beat them by the smallest of margins because they got that freaking car. It's crazy. In Game 5, TSM has another mediocre showing, incorrectly predicting the circle pull, which leads to a weird rotate and a death on the walk-in.
Like, why are you sliding forward? Just play the knock.
Optic come close again to winning, but once again aren't able to close it out. So we head into the fated Game 6. It's another Skyhook pull, but this one could be either Skyhook or Countdown. TSM actually ended up being the 11th team to walk into the second ring, with it split about half and half on where teams are predicting it to go. With the uncertainty, TSM's plan is to try and play off of the landslide team.
We're gonna have to play off landslide and see where they go when they hit third, okay? I don't know. Well, I just don't know where the zone is going. We have to wait. The third. You try to rotate right away to like either side. Okay.
They have a catalyst and will hit the beacon to see the third ring information, which a majority of the lobby will not have. If that team indicates based on their movements which pull it is, then TSM can adjust accordingly. But the team who gets that information doesn't act on it right away, which leads TSM to believe that maybe it's a countdown pull.
They're hitting it now. He's hitting it now. Their cat is hitting it now.
This could get interesting.
Try to see where they go. I can't like. I just use my Q. Yeah. They just zipped up. Top landslide. What if it pulls back? They're still sitting there.
They could have pulled back. They could have pulled a countdown.
They literally haven't moved. They still on top fucking. They hit the beacon. They stay top landslide. So
probably pulling a countdown.
Yeah.
Now there are a few.
They didn't move because they tried riding the beacon. No shot. Can't trust these edge teams, man.
Moments here where TSM could have rushed to judgment and taken a room inside of Countdown, but Hal never ends up making the call to do so. The information is incomplete, and you can tell he just doesn't feel comfortable committing based on assumptions. He's willing to potentially have a worse play within Countdown if it means keeping their flexibility open in case they are reading things incorrectly, and that patience pays off.
Wait, it's going the other side. Can we get in the tunnel? We need to get into the tunnel.
Yep. Might be able to just like get in the sky.
Yeah, come on.
These close buildings could definitely open.
Just follow like 5 seconds behind you. Yeah, but we might not be able to get like into a building because people are gatekeeping. Looks like diner is open. Can we just run for it? Diner right now?
Yep, we're right behind you.
Wall right now. Come on.
Yep, only to the left.
They're fighting here. Break that fucking drone! Break that fucking drone!
Try to. It's done. Can't break it. Can we get inside? Yep, cross in.
Actual menace, that drone.
Yep, that in.
They've secured Diner, but Hal's instincts kick in again.
Can we move to the apartments?
I don't see anything apartments right now. I don't have no wall. I can fuse off the building and we do it.
8-1.
You let me know. I can fuse off the building and we do it.
I think we do it.
Yeah, I fuse off the... Following you out.
I'm ready to shoot for you guys.
Yep.
I'm gonna trap on the other side.
I'm inside.
But again, Hal is not satisfied with their spot.
3-2. Listen, we might have to move again. This building might be open.
There's a team in here. There's a team in there.
I don't know. I'm talking about the building across the street. There's this window building. It might be open. Have you seen it there?
I'm trying to look right now. I'm trying to scout it.
They're playing the green for sure.
White armor team in diner there.
I'm 3-2. I think we just run across. We don't caval. Just cross.
Keep running the diner.
We should cross now. I think we should cross now into that building. You guys ready? Hurry. Go bottom first.
I might die.
Get inside, bro. You're fine.
Chill.
Imperial Hal is always looking to secure something better once he feels confident in his decision making, and he moves quickly to do so. Obviously, the rotate into Skyhook was great, but the 2 rotates from Diner into the 3-story and then the 3-story into the red building enables them this position in the endgame. Notice how their 2 old buildings.
We get this building, we're just chilling.
So this is going to be a free ticket to the top 5.
I'm gonna get my food really quick.
And TSM take the win in one of the hardest
I'll be back.
zones for them to play out of.
Like that was like a really far zone for us, and so to be able to like come from edge and win that zone was a huge confidence booster for the boys. I mean, I think after that game, like snowballs are real, and like if you win a game, like chances are you're gonna play better that game right after it.
In Game 7, we head back to Storm Point, and oh my goodness, a wall pull. They're going to play this northeast corner building with the zip lines, but later in the game, the zone pulls to the west side of the wall.
I haven't seen anyone on our backside. Bro, the zone pulled to the other side? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? It's fine though.
Yeah, it's fine. We're still chilling.
TSM initially is going to discuss taking this spot on the outside of the building, but then Evan makes this call.
I wonder if, do we go back here early? Like, behind the fucking thing? Like, if zone pulls? Like, do we know if anyone's back there on the ramp?
I don't think anyone's back there. But
like, I
if we go early now. It's like, not that good, I feel like.
I feel like if we go early, we're gonna get just. I don't see anybody there. I don't see anybody there. Listen, we get thrown to this roof later. Okay. Alright, that's true. I think we're gonna have to start doing this shit soon.
Yep.
Is he still on the roof?
There's two there. They're playing the balcony. They're gonna try and come up when we cross.
Okay, we just have to bingo early. Can we bingo later so we can take the roof?
I'm gonna bingo soon.
Should do it now so we can take the roof.
Doing it now.
Let's look in the backside of the roof.
Walking up.
Yep, get ready to take the roof. Let me know if you hit him or not, okay? Yeah, I will. Let me. They bingo to that. No hits. I got hits. We're good. They're climbing up right side on you now. Skynade. Yep. I know. I'm just trying to fucking stop it from nading us.
They secure the roof, and this is going to be in for a long time in the endgame, meaning they just have to be patient and close it out. And close it out they must, because Optic and Blackhand are both alive and on match point.
We can take the evac! Oh, this thing's gonna kill us here. This thing's gonna kill us on the right. Under evac! I did so much damage below! Jump on the right. Daniel did so much damage, guys. I'm play the balcony! Play on me! Take my Q! In their Q! Good one! I'm bad. I'm playing my life. In the Q! I'm dead. Give me back, I'm gonna give you
Watch the kill feed here. You know what's so crazy? Hal's in a 1v2 right now, right? He has to kill 2 players. There's 2 players alive. And look what happens.
And boom.
Catch that?
And boom. TSM goes back to back.
The guys that Hal was 1v2ing died to the ring. If he didn't die to the ring, I think Hal would have lost that.
Reaching match point. And you can feel the momentum and the atmosphere have shifted. What felt like a change in the ALGS hierarchy has now shifted into a grim feeling that the GOAT is ready to break the hearts of all the prospective winners awaiting their chance. Into Game 8 we go, and it's a Thunder Watch pull. TSM does not have Beacon once again though. And despite Evan's guess that it's a Thunderwatch pull, Hal doesn't want to act on incomplete information.
Zone's near us again. I think we go for the hill, the building on the hill.
I think it's Thunderwatch, but yeah, we can go there for now and just look.
He is more confident in their ability to be flexible and sacrifice initial prio to ensure they're playing the correct zone. So they choose to play this building right here. And for a while, they do actually think that the zone is going to end here because of Realize coming from Cascades trying to zip up to their building.
No, zipping up at us! Okay. I'm ready. Wait, they jumped off. I'm shooting. Cracked them, 90! Fuck, we should have went. They actually didn't know we were here. It's fine. This hole. The zone's on us. Where is that other team that was just there?
I mean, the zone's not on us. There's nowhere.
Or if that has console.
Bro, the Cascades team was trying to zip up to us. Like, are you fucking using your brain?
I mean, couldn't Cascades be trying to like wrap the north side, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Now, eventually, Verhulst's suspicions are confirmed, and it is going to be a Thunder.
Let's go, baby. Suspicions confirmed.
Watch pull. TSM rotate through the north side of the map and eventually reach.
Was it just a guess? Well, yeah, you have to guess. You can never know for sure. Always a guess, but that was my hunch.
The north side of Thunderwatch, and we get this calm.
How much cover do we have on the other side? I feel like we have to stay, bro.
Well, I think we have to stay too, but we're gonna get zone wrap. We're gonna get zone wrap 100% here.
Yep.
100% we're gonna get zone wrap.
And then the time comes. The dojo has zone wrapped TSM.
Wonder if we go to that one. Wait. I think I just heard somebody.
On this left side here.
I feel like I just hear somebody right here. Yeah, there's people on my ping. There's people on my ping. 100%. They're gonna zone. They're trying to push us.
Slow down. Next ulted you. One's weak, I think. One might grab my right. 70 on one.
I'm probably bad. I already ulted them.
They're nading us.
I'm probably bad. I use my 65 purple.
Cracked one, 24 flash.
We should play aggressive on this if we can.
Okay.
Can we cow wall them?
Yeah, I can.
I'm bang-ulting them. They're gonna walk up.
They're gonna play the high on the right.
There's someone on the left side.
On the right. There's one on the right.
I walled on the right.
There's one right above me.
Crack one on the right. Waiting for you. I'm waiting for you.
I got a bat.
Wait. There's only one. Come back.
Yep.
Come back. Just play back. Watch our back.
Like we actually could have knocked one there way earlier. Watching that back, we could have got a knock.
Go watch our back. I have nowhere bats.
I have one.
Now, TSM are in a bad spot here. They committed 2 people onto their back in case a team came up through the tunnel, but instead, someone zone wrapped them by mirroring their rotation in the north. And this has put them at the disadvantaged spot of being on the low ground. They initially look to get aggressive, but then Hal calls the team back. He realizes they are in a bad spot. This is going to require them to int here. They have no other choice. The dojo only needs to sit on this height here and wait for TSM's inevitable push. But then...
They're playing for these kills.
TSM eliminates the dojo, and remember, the dojo was the team who ratted them earlier in the tournament.
It's actually so it's so bittersweet, the fact that we won just because we killed them. Like, someone wrote a story. So, like, there's gotta be a script, and I don't know where it is, but holy shit, the bittersweet of them doing this to us, and then us killing them in a spot where they would have probably won the tournament. Get fucked.
But as all this is happening, we have a bit of a controversial moment. You see, as TSM and the dojo were fighting below, Startifight is staring from above. Now, this moment has sparked a lot of debate as to whether they should or shouldn't have dropped, so allow me to make the argument for both. First off, why they shouldn't. Sleep is not near his other 2 teammates. Because they're holding top command, their biggest worry is
SAF got way too much flack for not dropping here. Because it was actually like, it's pretty 50-50, I say it's more reasonable to not drop. Like, it's better for them to not drop here. Yeah, there's like a bit of an argument for dropping because you just get free KP and free loot, but like your positioning gets worse. you might die, like from fall stun. SAF got way too much flack for this.
The team is ziplining up to the top of command and coming out the door towards the buildings that they're holding. And they need to be aware if that happens, and so Sleep is posted up really far away from the cliff to watch this door. That said, they were staring at the fight for quite a long time, so they certainly could have called him over. He wasn't there though, meaning that if they did drop right when the fight was over, they'd be fighting in a 2v2. Next, they have Valkyrie, and they can wait on height as long as possible, and then Valkyrie ultimate into the sky to delay as long as possible till they are forced to land on the ground. Also, if they do drop, they have to deal with the landing lag required since they have no horizon, and TSM will have a knockdown shield to play with, so it's not guaranteed that they win that fight. And finally, the endgame god spot is this height right here. They know the team below them is going to go for it and presumably will have to fight for it, meaning they have the option later to potentially third party that fight. Now let's talk about why they should have dropped. Reps is downed in the fight, and there is about a 10-second window in which Hal is armor swapping and then completing the res onto Reps. A big question is, can they see that Reps is down and being resed, and if so, why can't they just shoot at it? So let's take a look at a few screenshots to kind of try and get the full picture, because we don't actually have a direct angle of them looking at Reps. So let's look right here. This is what Startified is seeing from their angle on height during the fight. If we cross-reference that with the spot in which Reps is knocked, we can estimate that based on Startified's angle, Reps is being revived right here. Now, the circle does eventually close, and it actually pushes them off of this little thing here that juts out, which is what is allowing them to see down below. So, if the circle has pushed them off of this height by the time that Dojo dies, then they can't see everything that's going on down below. So, let's take a look at the angle right when Dojo dies. From below, Evan looks up to the height, and you can see clear as day that thing that juts out is still well within the playable area.
Dude, I feel like this analysis deserves the that Illuminati, like the what's that song, like the detective like conspiracy song. That's what this analysis needs, bro. Like we're getting so in depth on whether or not they should have dropped here. Hold on, chat. What's the song called? Here it is. Oh, it's the Stranger Things theme. Chat. I can't believe nobody said this. Have you guys not seen like the conspiracy videos? They play the song behind the they play the song.
Yeah. Then they can't off I knocked. We can estimate that based on Startified's angle, Reps is being revived right here. Now, the circle does eventually close, and it actually pushes them off of this little thing here that juts out, which is what is allowing them to see down below. So, if the circle has pushed them off of this height by the time that Dojo dies, then they can't see everything that's going on down below. So, let's take a look at the angle right when Dojo dies. From below, Evan looks up to the height, and you can see clear as day that thing that juts out is still well within the playable area, meaning they have a few seconds of time to look down. So we can conclude that Startified could have seen the revive taking place and could have popped some shots down below if they wanted to. Now Startified chooses not to drop. I'm going to assume that they did not see Reps get downed. The reason I'm assuming this is because they actually move off.
Fuck off this. I'm gonna get copyrighted probably. That would have fit perfectly though, for sure.
That thing that's jutting out a little bit earlier than necessary to start looking at a potential fight that's happening with E6 further up in the circle. Now, obviously, like I said, they're choosing not to drop, but all hope is not lost though. As I mentioned earlier, there is a better chance for Startified later in the game. You see, the circle pops and the god spot is this height, and TSM and Blackhand are going to fight for it. Both teams are on match point, and whoever successfully wins the spot is going to win the game. But Startified can throw a wrench in this. They can use the Valkyrie to take to the air, and they can see the fight happening. In fact, they even ping the spot. But mid-fight their jets do get pulled, and I've heard some people say that this prevents them from dropping down onto TSM. You see, after their jets get pulled here, they still circle around the zone about another 2 times, meaning they definitely still had time to commit to the third party if that's what they wanted, but they didn't. Instead, they land on the low ground below Thunderwatch.
Yeah, they definitely could have thirded us here.
Another two. You see, after
They had so much time to third us.
their jets
Even after their jetpacks triggered.
they still circle around the zone about another 2 times, meaning they definitely still had time to commit to the third party if that's what they want.
I mean, chat, this, like, yeah, we definitely got lucky. Like, the stars have to align to win 3 games in a row.
Wanted, but they didn't.
It's all part of the script.
Instead, they land on the low ground below Thunderwatch. It's hindsight, I know, but personally, in both instances, I would have committed. I understand not dropping initially if they were choosing to still do the Valk option, but if you're not going to drop, then that's the fight that you need to commit to. You need to third right there. That's the game-winning play. Taking the low ground with a comp of Watson and Bangalore is not going to win. You have no way to overcome the verticality difference. You also don't have Catalyst to split the end game. You're a sitting duck, and you're choosing the disadvantageous position.
I thought they would try and third us. Like, I was actually surprised to see them go Thunderwatch side. Like, I was thinking like they'd just stand height as long as possible, and then either just jump off, or I don't even remember them having Valk, but I guess either jump off or like balloon or something, and like kind of just stall in the air and wait till the third party that side of the map, because that side of the map is like the winning side of the map. There's just less teams there, so yeah, I was definitely expecting them to third party. I think them not third partying was a huge mistake on their part. Like, they should have played for that, because that's the only way they really win the game. Yeah, I've watched their POV. It definitely looked like they had time to land and third that. Like, even with all their jetpacks triggering, they definitely could have landed and thirded that, I think.
That said, a lot of people are blaming Startify for TSM's win, and if you're going to do that, you're foolish. It's not Startify's fault that the other 6 match point teams couldn't win. It's not Startify's fault that the Dojo lost their fight to TSM, despite the Dojo being in the better position. It's not Startify's fault that TSM was able to cross and eliminate Blackhand on the height, and of course, it's not Startify's fault that TSM is on match point in the first place. Startify made a mistake, but so did many other teams. That's how Apex goes. Every single match point victory probably has moments like this. No team is perfect, and that is what makes
based commentary.
Fun. But we're here to talk about TSM. So back to the soon-to-be champs. TSM is staring at the height the entire time preparing for the drop, and Hal even mentions the possibility of Startify thirding the fight that is about to take place. But TSM has no other options, so they commit. And once again, Hal gets a disgusting opening.
Team go first blood. We gotta go. Yep.
That was an insane spray. Insane spray. That spray basically won us the game. Through the smoke, too.
So TSM have cleaned up Blackhand, and they now hold the height and can watch as all the other teams are one by one being eliminated until we get this final fight against Start a Fight. As I mentioned earlier, no matter who came out on top on the low ground, TSM on the height was going to win this. TSM has the high ground, they have fresh armors, their abilities are ready to go, and most importantly, they've been here before. They are finishers. It does help them, though, that the team that they are facing, like I said, has no horizon or catalyst, meaning they cannot control the space and the pace of play.
Okay. 3 man underneath. I'm gonna pull the right. I think it's a 3 man underneath.
Let's displace here.
I come up. They kill him. Just wait. Play right. Play long. Yeah, the one sider. I'm on you, Hal. I'm waiting. It's a Watson team. I'm gonna burn it. Left side wall. Look right. I'm looking right. I'm popping south. There's a guy there, Evan. Yeah. Popping south as well. They're about to peek. I'm gonna peek. Wall's going downstream. Okay. Yeah. I'm just moving right. There's a fence on the wall. Yeah, I know. On me. Swing in. Let me do. Play my knockdown, please. The Q.
And with that, TSM win.
God, chat, we should have lost that fight, man. We really should have lost that fight. Me and Jordan both got stunned by Watson fences as Hal queued up. It was actually just part of the script.
3 games in a row. They went from 1 point in the lobby being all the way down in 17th place to eventually going on to win 3 games to close it out. This was the most legendary LAN win of all time, and it settled the storyline that we had all followed heading into this event, at least for now.
Like, my perspective is that
we had all followed.
That's Jayhawk.
At least for now.
Like, my perspective is that, like, this whole, like,
Is that Jayhawk?
Like, my perspective,
the storyline that we had all
It's gotta be Jayhawk, right?
followed heading into this event, at least for now.
like, my perspective is that,
Night
like,
Maiden.
this whole, like, DZ versus TSM storyline was just, like, the way I see it is, like, it's not like either of these teams' careers were just going to end after this year 3. So it's like, sure, it's like the finale to year 3, but, like, the game is still gonna go on. Their careers are still gonna go on. It's not the end of anything.
As Raven said, TSM and DZ aren't done. Year 3 was TSM's, and as of today, Imperial Hal is the undisputed GOAT, with TSM being the undisputed greatest team of all time. But their stories are not done. Year 4 awaits. TSM is still hungry for more, and Dark Zero is once again looking to even the score. But there's an even larger storyline heading into year 4. The rest of the world is looking up at the top of the mountain, hoping to be the first team to topple the dynasties. And in order to win a LAN, you have to beat the best. And as of year 3 in the ALGS, the best is TSM.
Banger. Banger. Goated video. Shout out once again to Jayhawk for putting out the best competitive content. Subscribe to this man if you haven't already. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm playing scrims again with the dojo. Should be fun. Good night, everybody.